Today I want to talk to you about real estate, but not in the classic sense, because that's actually unaffordable for a lot of people. Now, I'm in the lucky position to own some real estate, but when I started my career and investing journey, I was not in a position to buy real estate because usually it takes a lot of money and capital. But in today's video, I'm going to show you one potential option that you could consider to generate some nice interest, as well as participate from the gains real estate has to offer. And what I'm going to be talking about today is basically peer-to-peer lending or crowdfunding. There are different terms for it, but basically where you almost become like the bank, you are lending your money to a platform. I'll talk to you about the platform in a second. And that platform then obviously links up with different people that need the money and they borrow it from that platform. And in return, they pay you an interest through the platform. So it's all centralized, it's very easy. And obviously at the end of the loan, you get back your principal payment, plus of course your interest, which will have been paid along the way to you. Now, that's a very popular investment method that has been really growing in recent years. And there are many different platforms out there, too many to cover all of them. And that's why in this video, I want to talk about one particular one, which is called Nordstreet. And like many of those fintech companies, they are also based in Lithuania, which is Eastern Europe and the Baltic countries, where a lot of the payment providers, even Revolut and many others, have the European base. So it's really trustworthy. It's also supervised by the Bank of Lithuania, which is the governing body in Lithuania over there. So you're really going to be in safe hands. And honestly, I've been living in Lithuania many years. So definitely you're going to be in safe hands. That region is very much thriving. So yeah, it's a different way to diversify your real estate investments. And also for full transparency and disclosure, this is a sponsored video and I'm personally not invested right now on the platform as I have so many different investments, but it's definitely something I would consider if I wasn't already invested and had so many payments to be made right now that I have, having moved to Dubai and bought an apartment in Vilnius, Lithuania, actually. So yeah, I have a lot of expenses going on, but if I didn't, I would definitely consider investing into a platform like Nordstreet because it can really give you some nice juicy returns in terms of interest rates, because especially now we've seen interest rates are being dropped. The ECB just lowered the interest rate, the Federal Reserve in the US as well. So I really think central banks around the world will continue dropping the rate. And that's why getting high interest rates, like we'll see in a second, might become ever more attractive. But of course, nothing in life ever comes without risk. So obviously we'll have to speak about this towards the end of the video as well. While you do get some nice interest, there is obviously a certain risk attached to it as well. So to create your account is super easy. Basically, just use my link down in the description below. You'll get up and running in no time. It's very easy. Obviously, you have to do KYC to kind of, register yourself and prove that you're a real human being. But once you're up and running, it's super simple. And that's basically the main page you're going to be greeted with. And here you see all the various deals that you as an investor or a lender can invest in, right? Basically, you giving your money to the platform. That platform then gives your money on to those various projects. And you can see here, mostly they are loans, right? And they're different kind of loans. When you click over here on invest, you can see there are three different loans. There's business loan secured by real estate pledge. You have a pure business loan. And of course, you have investing in real estate buy-to-let mortgage model. And you see here all the various loans that either have already been invested or that are still waiting for investment. Right now, you can see waiting for investment is only one, which actually also shows you when you go through all those other ones over here, how many of them have actually been successfully filled. When you click on all projects with real estate collateral, which is something I would always invest in, you basically give your money for a loan for a real estate project, right? Like a bank, they want to have some security. They wouldn't just give anyone money to build a house. They want a security, a backup. And usually that comes in the form of the land, of the property itself. And the same is true over here with the real estate pledge, which is something I would feel more comfortable with when I invest my money in that platform. You can really see so many different projects being filled. Now they are expanding more and more. Currently, I would say the main focus is on the Baltics. You can see most of the project here in Estonia, in Lithuania, in Latvia as well. But I do also have a couple of projects I saw in Spain. And as I said, they're continuing to expand their geographic reach. And it's not just a new kid on the block. I mean, they have really been around. You can see in total they had 671 projects. Average return the projects have generated. And of course, that fluctuates from project to project. But on average, over the time they've been operating, it's 12.7% interest. So that's really attractive. That's what I meant, especially now that interest rates around the world are dropping, that becomes ever more attractive, right? That's even more than I get on my crypto staking on some various crypto platforms, which is also very risky. So in that way, it's definitely really, really attractive. The total amount that was generated and lent through the platform was 47 million. So real substantial amount. And investors so far have earned almost 6 million out of this. So really significant numbers. It was really nice and reassuring to see that they really know what they're doing and have been operating successfully for quite a while. Also, the average loan to value for me, it's really good to see it's 52%. So it's not just a highly leveraged place where sometimes people buy real estate with 10% down and the rest is borrowed. Here it's 52% on average. So it's almost 50-50 of how much they borrow versus how much is the total value of the property or the loan value that they're taking out. So that's really good to see as well. Right, and how it works, basically, you just go through and see what you're interested in. And then you can see, of course, right away, is it processing? Is it already been collected or not? So let's go into one that's fully invested just to see the details to understand better, what you could be expecting. So this is a property loan basically in Lithuania. You can see right away the country is Lithuania. There's in total 74 investors who invested over there. The loan period is always important because that means you can't just move in and out. You're basically committing your money for 24 months. Of course, some of them you'll see in a second, they also have a minimum loan period. So you could technically move out before that. It's up to 4 months, but in general, the loan runs for 24 months in total. Then there's also the risk evaluated from their side. They have different metrics, how they evaluate it. They have a whole team and also, evaluators that they work with. So when somebody applies, they go there, they have a look. It's not just, by email. There's real due diligence being done. They go there. You can see the property itself is really existing. I know this building actually myself. I used to live in Vilnius, so I know that property there. So yeah, it's really interesting to see. And of course, they describe what the purpose of the loan is over here. And then you have the collateral. Again, sometimes it's the real estate, sometimes it's guarantees. So in this case, it's a smaller loan, as it says, is the loan for installation, just to finish it off inside, make it nicely. And in total, it was only 20,000 euros. So really manageable loan. And then you see a bit more insights about the loan over here. The payment of the interest is done every single month. So you will be receiving the interest into your account, basically, which is nice. And the loan repayment is also done every single month. So proportionately, of course, of the amount that you loan, which is nice because some other loans, they're only repaid at the end of the period, which is more common, I would say. But here it's also repaid every single month. So that's quite interesting as well. Here I have a bit of more description about the building, what it is, what they're looking for. And really interesting, you can invest from as little as 50 euros, which I think is super attractive, especially for younger investors or people just getting started. Because as I said, buying your own real estate or saving for a mortgage or loan can be a daunting task. You need thousands and thousands of euros, dollars, what have you. Here you can invest from as little as 50 euros. And I always recommend start with that. Start with the smallest amount just to feel comfortable with it. Maybe realize that's not really for me. And that way you don't have to commit much of your money to it because again, you're going to be locked up for quite a while over there. So start with a small amount, see how you feel. And later on, you can always add more to other projects. But of course, the interesting part over here is the fixed interest rate of 14%, which honestly is really quite attractive, I would say. And that's actually more that I'm even getting from my Dubai real estate apartments that I own, where my rental yield is significantly less than 14%. So yeah, definitely tempting. Once again, some more insights about the loan term repayment. So each of those individual loans, you would have those insights and details, which is important. Obviously, you need to know that as an investor. So yeah, very straightforward. You can go through and see what works for you. And if you wanted to invest, all you have to do is basically click on the invest button over here, stipulate the amount over here, obviously assuming that you already have some balance in there. I have currently some money sitting over here. So let's start with the smallest amount, 50 euros. If you want to go ahead, just click on invest over here. It will take a second and boom, your investment was successfully processed. And now you can see if I go into my e-wallet over here, my account balance obviously has been reduced to only 100 euros because I committed 50 euros to that one project. And it's also very simple to withdraw your cash in case you change your mind or you finish one of your loans and you have your interest and you want to get it back to your bank account. Obviously, you can only withdraw to the bank account where you sent the money to first. And then they just take €1 a one-off. So regardless of how big the amount is, they will take €1 and then it will be immediately back in your account. Here we have my account overview. You see my account balance. Active investments right now I have 0 because obviously the project is still collecting money. That's why it's in the reserved investments. So right now it's collecting funds. And once the funds have been collected, which I've been told by the platform, takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the project. Sometimes if it takes too long, they basically lower the loan amount. They chop it up into 2 loans, for example, and then it will be fulfilled easier and they can go ahead with that and you start earning interest. So that's a smart way as well. Then of course you will start seeing a profit. Once the loan becomes active, you will get here all your various interest paid to you, plus any other earnings. And of course also see your average interest rate over here. And then if I go into my investments, I would see basically here all the various projects where my money is invested. If I was to invest in different loans, for example, you can do that, right? You could invest into various projects in smaller amounts and just see which one you like more, business loans or real estate based loans. I could also from here, as the project is still rising, top it up, right? If I want to change my mind and invest even more, I could do that and add investment very easily. or if I change my mind, I can go ahead and cancel my investment. So it's really up to you. You're still flexible. Then later on, once the money has been collected, it will move to processing project. And there's also another section for recoverable loans. So that basically means if a project is outstanding, meaning the borrower has been late to repay your loan, which can also happen. We'll speak about this in a second. But yeah, here you have a nice overview of your various investments and where your money is. You can even set up auto investments, which is also interesting. So you basically set your preferences of how you want to invest, your strategy, business loans secured by real estate pledge, or buy-to-let projects. You give it a name, you kind of say which duration, maybe you want to have only short-term loans, long-term loans. You can really stipulate what you want, and then it will basically sit there and wait until such new projects come out, and then automatically allocate the amount that you stipulated there. For example, over here in the investment amount, so you don't have to jump in every single day and look for new projects to come out. You can set it and forget it once, and then it's basically almost like investing on autopilot, which is quite interesting. Now, there's also secondary market on the platform where basically people who want to get out of their loan early can resell their part of the loan in a way. So in case you're locked up for, 24-month loan, but after a few months you change your mind, you need the money back, you can put it on the secondary market, and then Nordstreet will basically help you to sell the loan for you, almost like a resale when you buy tickets and you change your mind and want to resell on the resale market. So here sometimes you might lose a little bit on the money, but somebody else can get into the project because you saw earlier, there's not always too many projects available necessarily. So here they can still get into some of those projects. Another really cool thing is their referral program, which I just want to mention here because I think they're being really quite generous. So you could potentially, once you signed up, share your referral link with anyone, your friends, your family members. And as soon as they sign up and invest at least 100 euros, both you and your friend will get a 30 euro bonus. So I think that's really quite attractive, and you can imagine just sharing it with a couple of people, for them to try it out. 100 euros, anyone can invest. You get almost a third back in the form of bonus, which you can then either cash out right away or reinvest. It's up to you, but I think it's really quite attractive. So while I think the interest rates you can get here in returns are really very attractive, some really high interest rates, there are a couple of things for you to consider as well. Now, the first and biggest one is, of course, the risk of failure of the borrower to pay back the mortgage or the loan that they've taken. Same as anyone who goes to the bank and takes a mortgage, maybe they go bankrupt or other things happen that they don't have the money to pay back the bank. And then the bank, usually what happens, they seize the property. Then later on, what they do is they have to sell the property to get the money back. In this case over here, if a borrower cannot pay back the loan, then of course the platform like Nordstreet will work with some other partners on the ground to once again liquidate the property, get the value back, and then obviously distribute back who lent their money in the first place. And this sometimes can really take a long period. You see here, some of those outstanding loans are recoverable loans. Payment has been delayed by 359 days. So that's definitely a longer period. And that may happen. Now, obviously, it doesn't happen to all of them. It may have been a more risky loan. And usually the higher the risk, the higher the interest rate people also get. Some of the properties you see, they have very low risk profile, meaning the person borrowing is very credit worthy. They've taken many loans and repaid them successfully in the past. So there is more trustworthiness. Therefore, the risk is less, but also the interest most likely slightly less than with some other people who are potentially more risky, but then potentially also you as a lender get a higher return. So like anything in life, it's always risk versus reward, right? And of course, another thing to consider is that your money is tied up for quite a while. Now, as I mentioned, you could potentially sell on the secondary market. You can do that, but sometimes you take a little bit of a financial hit there. But overall, you're going to commit your money for a longer period, which is not a bad thing, right? I'm a long-term investor myself. When I invest in the S&P 500, even Bitcoin or real estate, I'm not here to trade in and out of the markets. I really commit my money for long term. Only difference is, okay, apart from real estate, but with my crypto and ETF investments, I can sell them and withdraw it at any time in case there's emergency and I need the money. It's very fast. Here, you might be locked up for a longer period, which is, as I said, not a bad thing, but it's just something to keep in mind. Now, while the platform currently does not have a separate app and the overall user interface is maybe not the prettiest of all, I think they're really reliable. It's definitely not scammy. They have been operating for many years. They are supervised by the Lithuanian National Bank. Most of their investors are coming back to continue investing with them. So it seems they're really happy with the platform overall. So I think if you're interested in getting nice interest on your money or getting into the real estate game without actually owning the real estate yourself or committing large amounts of money with it, so just start dabbling around, I think it would be a great platform to get started. And if you want to do so, then use my link down in the description below and you get 30 euros as soon as you invest at least 100 euros into any of the projects. If you have any questions about any of it, let me know down in the comments below. I'll get back to every single one of you. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, thanks a lot for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.